Chris Salvador with Live for Your Die Hard review. Just saw this recently. I know it's a couple months late here. It just came out on the Blu-ray, DVD, and all the other stuff, and I just finally saw it. So I just wanted to give my review and talk about the series in general. I have to say that this one was a lot like Die Hard with a Vengeance, where they put John McClane with a sidekick, and they have to work together to stop a smart villain. But unfortunately, while everybody was wondering whether the fact that it was PG-13 and not rated R would hurt it, I think that's one of the many problems that hurts this film. It's not so much the rating, but just the fact that it does feel like there is that feeling of like, you know, that there are times when you're watching it that it's like, and then it's edited in a way that you know they were saying more and they cut it down. So the editings in some of those scenes, you know, was just ADR, and it just was really distracting. Another thing was, I guess, yeah, the R rating did kind of, it sucked, because there were times when, like, John McClane, you know, they were just like, you know that they're cussing, that they would just be saying fuck or motherfucker or fucking, and I'm not saying that you have to just, every other word out of your mouth has to be, damn, motherfucker, you know, like, but, you know, it just, Die Hard with a Vengeance is really underrated. It's not overrated, it's underrated. A lot of people think it's one of the worst. I think it's probably the second best Die Hard film next to Die Hard. You know, it's just, it's, because it may, you know, just like, you couldn't make that movie today. It's kind of like a Grand Theft Auto before there was a Grand Theft Auto game on the PS2. It was just free roaming, them grabbing cars, just chaos in the city, and just craziness and bombs and all the stuff that post 9/11 you could not do those things without making it a terrorist or making, you know, it really stands alone, having the luxury of being made in 95. Plus you've got a really smart villain because he's a Gruber, and the best thing about Die Hard is the Grubers. They're probably the best villains in here. You know, Colin Stewart wasn't a bad villain, but I guess I think that's the funny thing here, is that Thomas Gabriel is a lot like Colin Stewart. He sits in a control room kind of giving orders via the mic, you know, and turning things off, and let's turn off the thing, and let's do, you know, so that this is really, it's funny how Thomas Gabriel and Colin Stewart are like, it's kind of like, I guess, it's kind of like Gruber, person who sits in a control room, Gruber, person who sits in a control room, and then I guess the next one, if they ever make a Die Hard 5, would be a Gruber, Baby Gruber, the revenge of Baby Gruber, you know, it'll be like Stewie. Stewie could play some kind of, you know, no, I think this was the last one, but, I really, you know, I mean, the premise for this movie, I have to say that it's a very interesting premise, and I think it's funny because Die Hard with a Vengeance, and I think all the Die Hard movies were based on other, like Die Hard 1 was based on a book, and then Die Hard 2 was based on some other kind of story, and then Die Hard 3 was based on a script, Simon Says, and this was based on another script. That it's funny how they never, like, specifically have John McClane as the hero in mind for this thing. It's not like a James Bond movie, like James Bond, you know, it's like, they were like, they had someone else, and they just realized, well, John McClane he's kind of like, I guess like the Goodwill character, that, like, you know, he's always around, and he's famous, so you just put in Bruce Willis, and, you know, you just got to add some kind of, you have to layer it to suit him and why he's involved, and then, you know, you got the same action movie just with John McClane. And, you know, a big problem with this film is that the premise is really interesting, which is that these people can sit at a computer and essentially turn off anything in the entire, they've hacked America, you know, and, you know, basically the whole goal of it was that, so that some place, Goodlawn, would then transfer all its financial information that would only have one backup into this place, and they would steal that, and then they'd have all the financing in the world. I'm not really sure, like, something about that screams True Lies to me. Like, it just felt like Arnold Schwarzenegger, this was kind of like a True Lies sequel or something. Like, this would be, it just felt like something, you know, it felt more like Harry Stamper should be at the because I mean you've got the F-15 fight and you've got all this stuff that's like, I don't know, it just feels like this Arnold Schwarzenegger would probably, given my history with him and the whole, thinking of him just as an actor, this felt more like an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. And it would have been better because you have Arnold Schwarzenegger's, awesome dialect voice that he could take anything, give these people air. And then just the way that he'll say anything would be funny. So, because John McClane really feels out of place in this movie. Like, even there's a time where he's like, I know I'm not as smart as you guys with the computer shit. And you kind of feel like it's true. Like, this is not his movie. Like, this is not his element. He's not, the power of bullshit is the only thing. The power of action cliche is the only thing keeping him alive. Because there's only so many bullet dodge, there's so many times that he can dodge a bullet that you're just like, come on, dude. Like, and I think that, the biggest bullshit of the whole movie is him fighting an F-15 with a truck. It's Captain America. I always call it Captain America because in Civil War, Captain America gets on the F-15 and I'm like, this is just not something a New York City cop does. He does not jump on a fucking F-15. It's not an F-15, but I mean, every jet plane is F-15 because that's what we call it. I'm sure it's an X-23 something. But he gets on this jet plane, this jet fighter, and it is really like, I'm sorry, but there's a moment where the thing literally fires, all these barrage of bullets at him, and he just kind of ducks, and then the entire back of the truck is destroyed in bullets. Everything's like destroyed. But he just kind of like gets up like the T-1000 and just kind of like, that's the best you got. And I'm sitting there like, no, dude, that's as retarded as duck and cover. When they used to tell the kids that when a nuclear attack comes, all you gotta do is duck under duck under your desk and you'll be alive. Are you fucking kidding me? So in movies, it's like, okay, when someone's shooting at your car, just duck under the steering wheel and you're safe. The steering wheel will save you because, and it's like, no, those bullets would have it's not, you can, I know it's the power of bullshit, but that's too much bullshit for me. It's like, it's too much bullshit. And I know that missiles were hitting him or missing him and that all the stuff was, that the truck almost flipped and, I can buy that. But I cannot buy a friggin' F-15 coming head on, firing, just going crazy with this kind of Gatling gun straight at him. And if you've watched, military channel, you've seen that these things, they don't fire bullets straight. It's like a crate of bullets with thousands of holes in it, and they have each bullets, and it just farts all these bullets out. And they have guns that they were experimenting on now that when those bullets, they could literally destroy tanks, explode them. Like it's like a rain shower of bullets. So there's no way that John McClane could come out of that. I mean, it's like, and you just, you look at, I know I'm spending too much time, but it's like you look at Bonnie and Clyde, and at the end of the movie, an F-15 didn't fire at them. But you gotta be fucking kidding. I mean, they were dead. They were just destroyed. Bonnie and Clyde were killed by these people shooting at them. And Godfather, I mean, there's no way John McClane could have survived a friggin' X-23 head on. And I just keep thinking, like, if you ask, like, someone who flies that jet in real life, like, do you think someone could survive that? If you hit the trigger and all those bullets came fly? No way. There's fucking no way. You'd be dead. You'd be dead. You'd be fucking dead. Those bullets would rip through you like butter. They'd rip through you. So, of course, he survives, and then he has the strength to jump on them. It's total bullshit. Fine. But, I mean, there's a lot of other things about this movie that are just like, it's like, I don't know, I just felt like, I don't know why they put Justin Long in it. I mean, because he doesn't do a bad job, but like I said, if this was True Lies, and that was Arnold Schwarzenegger or something, like, I really felt like Justin Long and Bruce Willis did not belong together or something. Like, it just felt like he doesn't do anything bad, but he doesn't do anything that you go, what is, like, you wonder, like, who would have played that role a couple of years ago? Who fit that Justin Long kind of the dorky